Hello everybody and welcome back to my World Cup predictions video. It is time for the semi-finals, but it's done with a very heavy heart. We've had shocks, we've had drama, we've had excitement at this World Cup, but it is also full of heartbreak, and it's full of heartbreak for England as they once again let me down. They always let me down. Harry Kane is a disgrace. Southgate is a disgrace. Why am I still even wearing this fleece? What I should do is take it off and start supporting a country that's so bad I don't even need to worry about the World Cup. But what country is that? I found it. I found it. Ever heard of them? I haven't either, but I can be pretty sure that they're never going to make it to a World Cup and they can just enjoy England's failings rather than even worry about themselves ever qualifying. But jokes aside, I am going to do predictions for the two semi-final games. But just before I get into that, I do just want to do a minute or two talking about England and that defeat to France. I do put timestamps down below, so if you do want to just jump ahead and get to the predictions bit, that's absolutely fine. But if you could leave a like on this video, that will help me out a lot as well. And if you like the video and like the content, then think about subscribing because that helps me out too. So what are my thoughts on England versus France? Well, first of all, it was a great game. It was an end-to-end game, and it was a real game where England went toe-to-toe with France and genuinely competed with one of the best sides in the world. And I said in my predictions video for the quarterfinals that so long as England did that and they lost, I really wouldn't be too disappointed. But of course, the way the game played out, you can't help but be disappointed. I give England credit. We did play well. We did look a good side, and we've looked arguably as good as we've looked in any of the World Cups that I've seen in my lifetime. But we still didn't get the result. Credit to France. When they weren't at their best, or they found a way to win the game, they got the goals. An amazing goal from Tchouaméni and a great header from Giroud after a great cross by Griezmann, who was absolutely outstanding in that game. And I think when England have gone out of tournaments in previous years, there's always been a pretty obvious or a smoking gun that you can point at to point blame on. And that's either a manager's ineptitude or players seemingly not being good enough, or England being tired, or a red card or a goal not being given that goes against us. And while yes, there were some calls that went against England in this game, and there were some questionable decisions from Southgate in terms of the substitutions that came on, I don't really think there is an obvious smoking gun here. It really does come down to fine margins. But it's so disappointing. It's just disappointing that it's just never us that seems to be the ones, I'm sorry to use the word us, it's never England the ones to go through, to have that game against Morocco, to get into a World Cup final, to maybe get that monkey off our back of winning something. And we just have to hope now that this does make us tougher, and this does make us better moving forward. It's no guarantee of that, though. You have to wait a long time before you're going to be in this scenario again, before you're tested. And there's so many variables that could be in place when that happens. Yes, if you look at the squad, it should be 4 years down the line. You think it should be even better. I just think that it's not necessarily the case that is going to be the way it plays out. I hope it does. And I hope England do improve. Wish that they had another opportunity to play against the best sides, like in a month's time or 2 months' time. But they're so few and far between, it's tough to really gauge the improvement. I don't think Southgate's the guy to take us forward. I give him credit. He's done a great job. And one of his greatest strengths is the environment he's created around his England side. They look a united team. They look a team that wants to be there and play there and represent the country. They don't look scared of the weight of expectation that other sides have had. Like, for example, the golden generation in the Sven years and things like that. However, I just think that we need a bit of a change now. I'd like to see, if he does stay on, I can see the merits in it. But personally, for me, I would just like to see a change of tactics. I don't have an answer of who comes in, but I think we're a little bit too nice, and those England players just need a little bit more toughness and a bit of grit to maybe get them over the line. But that is done now. That's another World Cup for England out of the way. Euros in 18 months, maybe things will be different. But let's talk about these semi-finals now. Thank you for bearing with me for that. And the first one we're going to talk about is Argentina versus Croatia. Boy, wasn't that a tough old struggle for Argentina. Both these sides, in fact, but Argentina's game against the Netherlands really fell into a bit of warfare in the end. It was tetchy, it was tense, it was tough, but Argentina, you have to remember, was seemingly in control of this game for large periods. They really did a good job of stifling the Dutch, and then all of a sudden just seemed to blow it and throw it away. It really did get quite nasty, but the main man did the business again for them, didn't he? A great assist for the first goal from Acuna, and obviously stepped up and scored that penalty too. So Messi's dream, the fairy tale for him to go out in his last World Cup with the victory, is still on the cards, and they will be favourites in this game against Croatia. But do not rule out the Croatians. They are granite in these tournaments, and I almost feel like the more people back against them, the better they are. Led by a superb goalkeeper in Livakovic and in that back line. And they have a talismanic figure themselves, obviously, in Luka Modric in that side. They have done an amazing job themselves. And it's not to be, you can't really underestimate the fact that, yeah, they weren't great against Japan and they weren't even great against Brazil. But they beat Brazil. They knocked Brazil out of this tournament. It seemed destined that Brazil were going to get to the final, or at least a semi-final with Argentina, but Croatia throw a spanner in the works in that game. They never panicked in that game against Brazil, even when they went down in extra time, even when the game got a bit tight in the 90 minutes. They still stuck to their guns, remained patient, created that chance, took that chance, and then were ice cold in the penalty shootout. But I do expect this game to be tight, and I do expect this one to be low scoring as well. I see this one being a very cagey affair. Neither side is going to really overcommit too much. They're going to rely on little pockets of inspiration. Obviously, Argentina from Messi, and Croatia from Modric, although he does play too deep still for my liking. But what can you can't really knock it, because he's always on the ball, he's always available for a pass, and he's always able to get Croatia out of little pockets of trouble and play that deep role and start attacks from deep, which is working for them. They don't score a lot of goals, but I'd like to see them maybe challenge the Argentinian backline aerially. I think they've got players that are good in the air, and Argentina sort of struggled against that when the Netherlands finally brought Weghorst on. So maybe that's a way they can get at this Argentinian backline. Argentina will remain patient and just game plan of Messi. Can you give us a bit of inspiration again? He probably will. In a prediction in this one, I am going to be backing Argentina. By the way, I forgot to say, big shout out to ex-Oxford United's Emi Martinez in goal for Argentina. Come on, you yellows, and all that stuff. But I'm going to be backing Argentina in this one. I feel that I just have to. It feels a bit written in the stars that Messi's going to get through to another final. And I don't think it's going to be easy. And I think it's going to be 1-1 after extra time. And Argentina win it 2-1 in extra time. And we come to France versus Morocco. We'll get to the extraordinary Moroccans in a little bit. But let's start talking about the defending champions, France. They were pushed. They were pushed to the limit more than any side pushed them in this World Cup. Or maybe any side pushed them in the last World Cup. Maybe Belgium in the last World Cup. But they stood firm. And they found a way to win. They didn't need Mbappe. Mbappe was kept pretty quiet by the English. But boy, when you've got Griezmann and you've got Giroud, wow, you've still got an amazing attacking talent. Antoine Griezmann's evolution as a footballer is simply amazing. He seems to just play in anything little position they give him, and he flourishes. I don't think anybody expected him to be as good in midfield against England as he was. He played really deep in that game and kept collecting balls off the back line, but England just couldn't really get the ball off him, and he was influential all over the pitch. And it's, fitting that he delivered a great cross for the winning goal in that game, because he was outstanding. Olivier Giroud up front as well continues to just be that man for France. Get it? If he doesn't score goals, he's effective with his hold-up play, when of course it's unlikely that Mbappe is going to be quiet for 2 games in a row. So yeah, I know France have conceded a goal in every single game so far in this World Cup, and we know that Moroccans are good at the back. That is their main strength. But boy, France will be confident that they can get through this one and get into the final. Didn't also mention Tuamani's rocket bolt of a strike. I don't think anyone saw that one coming. Yeah, so it just shows you that France, although they haven't really shared the goals around, they do have quality all over the pitch. And let's not forget, it's not even a full strength French side. They've got so many players out injured. Deschamps really does deserve credit for getting this French side looking so good and getting them virtually on the cusp of doing the unthinkable of getting back-to-back World Cup wins. But can Morocco stop them? Is anybody really be surprised now if Morocco beat France? Nobody gave them a hope of even getting out of their group. Nobody gave them a hope against Belgium. Nobody gave them a hope against Spain. And nobody gave them a hope against Portugal. But I tell you what, they did it. And huge credit to their manager, whose name I'm going to butcher now, Walid Regragui. I just can't say it. He's only been in that job for like 100 days, and he's got this team so well organised. You would think that he has been the manager for about 10, 15 years. They looked like Portugal could have played until Christmas and not have scored a goal. And it's not, partly it's down to their inability to score, but the way they're so well drilled as a unit is exceptional. They just literally, to a man, they are an epitome of a team. They create this wall in defence. It's so hard to breach. The only goal they've conceded is an own goal. They put their bodies on the line. They're so disciplined, but let's not assume that that's all they can do. They're very good on the counter-attack. They break at such speed. They've got good players in the air, like in Nesri, and they really do cause a threat. Just when you think you've got them on the back burner, all of a sudden, somebody breaks a line, and they seem to be 3-on-2 against you, running forward. And if you go a goal down to them, you're going to have to work doubly hard to try and get back into this game. France are probably the most ruthless side that they've played. Spain were wasteful. Portugal were wasteful as well. France, if they create chances, you have to think they probably will score them. But it isn't going to be easy, and I wouldn't expect it to be easy in this one. I hope that Morocco, I hope it's not a situation where France get an early goal. And if France do get an early goal, I think it could be a really tough game for Morocco, and it could be the end of the road. But wouldn't it be great if they won it? Wouldn't it just be absolutely fantastic if Morocco not only got to the final, but won this World Cup? And there is a lot of talk about Amrabat, and he continues to just play amazingly well in midfield. And En-Nesyri scored a wonderful header, Ronaldo-esque leaping header. But El Yamik in the back line and Atit Allah were also fantastic at centre-back and at left-back, respectively. But they're going to need everybody again to be on their best against this French side. And don't even think that they can even dip a few percent below being absolutely perfect. Coming to a prediction, I would love Morocco to do this. I really, really would. But I'm going to back France. And I know that's going to upset some people, but I think France are going to do it. I don't think it's going to be high scoring again. I think Morocco are going to keep it tight, but I think France will get the job done. I'm going to go for France to win by 1-0. That's how tight it's going to be. And Morocco go out of the World Cup after conceding just 2 goals. And those are my predictions. I didn't even mention the fact we could have a repeat of the final from 4 years ago if it's France versus Croatia. And not surprisingly, I didn't even touch on the fact if I did a quarterfinals predictions video and I got all 4 games wrong. I predicted Netherlands, I predicted Brazil, I predicted England, and I predicted Portugal. Couldn't be more wrong. So take heart on that. If I've backed against your side, it's probably going to go the other way. But that's it for me. Enjoy these semi-finals. Not much of this World Cup left. Hit the like button again if you like the video, and think about subscribing if you like the content. Thanks for watching. I'll be back for the final predictions very soon.